what would mean more to you, a gold medal with the Team Slovenia or NBA championship with the men?
I would say gold medal with Slovenia.
What if I told you that an 18-year-old kid didn't just survive against NBA stars in their prime? He outplayed them, embarrassed them, and carried his country to basketball glory? Sounds impossible, right? But that's exactly what Luka Dončić did before most teenagers even graduate high school. And to really understand how shocking this was, you need to know what he faced, who he went through, and why this moment changed basketball forever. When American fans hear about EuroBasket, they usually shrug. No Team USA, no LeBron, no Steph. So it can't be that serious, right? But here's the truth. EuroBasket is brutal. It's held every 4 years. The best European nations go to war, and unlike the NBA, this is personal. Rivalries run deep. National pride is on the line. Winning this tournament can mean more to players than an NBA championship. Don't believe me? Just watch Nikola Jokic after he won the NBA title. He barely celebrated. Compare that to his joy at winning a bronze medal for Serbia. Tears, passion, pure emotion. For these guys, playing for their country matters more. That's the pressure at EuroBasket. But one country wasn't supposed to feel any of it. Slovenia. Slovenia's history in basketball, practically nothing. They had never qualified for the Olympics. Never won a medal at any international tournament. A tiny nation of just over 2 million people. Only 13 Slovenians had ever reached the NBA. And going into EuroBasket 2017, their roster looked average at best. Their one true NBA player, Goran Dragic. A solid point guard, but not a superstar. They had Anthony Randolph, a forgotten ex-NBA role player, a couple of EuroLeague benchwarmers, and one unproven teenager who, on paper, was just a kid, Luka Dončić. Nobody believed Slovenia could win. In fact, they weren't even ranked inside the top 10 in the world. This was supposed to be Spain's tournament, or maybe France or Serbia. Slovenia, a nice story at best, but stories sometimes become legends. Slovenia's opener was against Poland. Dragic carried them with 30 points, but Luka showed flashes. A stat sheet stuffer at just 18. 11 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. The kid wasn't afraid of the spotlight. Game 2. Finland, led by NBA lottery pick Lauri Markkanen. Markkanen went off, but Slovenia held on. Luka had just 8 points. His quietest game of the tournament. But it didn't matter, the wins were piling up. Then came Greece. Giannis Antetokounmpo wasn't there, but Greece still had EuroLeague legends and veterans everywhere. This time, Luka stepped forward. 22 points, 3 assists, rebounds, hustle. He led all scorers, taking down one of Europe's traditional powers. Slovenia was now 3-0. Next came France. Prime Evan Fournier. NBA champion Boris Diaw. EuroLeague MVP Nando De Colo. A stacked roster. This was supposed to be Slovenia's reality check. But instead, Luka and Dragic ripped them apart. Dragic, 22 points, 8 assists. Luka, 15 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. Slovenia blew out France. The so-called underdogs went 5-0 in the group stage, knocking off giants along the way. And suddenly, whispers started spreading. Maybe Slovenia wasn't a fluke. Round of 16. Slovenia versus Ukraine. Dragic? Cold. 2 of 12 from the field, just 5 points. The team needed a savior, and that's when the teenager stepped up. Luka delivered 14 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, a complete performance. Slovenia cruised moving into the quarterfinals. But what waited for them next was terrifying. Latvia. Led by Kristaps Porziņģis, then an NBA All-Star in his prime, averaging 23 points per game during the tournament. The Bertans brothers firing from deep. Latvia was no joke. Porziņģis was unstoppable now, and just 34 points. But Luka? He wasn't intimidated. Step backs, deep threes, fearless drives. He dropped 27 points, 9 rebounds, 4 threes, and scored double digits in the fourth quarter alone. Every time Latvia threatened, Luka answered. Slovenia survived. They were in the semifinals, and this wasn't luck anymore. It was Luka Magic. If Latvia was scary, Spain was legendary. This was their golden generation. Pau Gasol, Marc Gasol, Ricky Rubio, Juan Carlos Navarro, Sergio Rodriguez. the same core that had gone toe-to-toe with Team USA in the Olympics. 3 of the last 4 EuroBasket titles belonged to Spain. Slovenia wasn't just supposed to lose, they were supposed to get humiliated. But then the unthinkable happened. Slovenia didn't just beat Spain, they destroyed them. A 20-point blowout. Luka, 11 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists, nearly a triple-double. Dragic, lethal as always, role players stepping up everywhere. The Gasol brothers shut down, the dynasty collapsed, and suddenly the Cinderella story was 1 win away from a crown. The final boss? Serbia, 3-time European champions, 2-time world champions. Stacked with Bogdan Bogdanovic, Boban Marjanovic, and EuroLeague MVP Vasilija Micic. This was an all-time matchup, and it lived up to the hype. First quarter, Serbia led. Second quarter, Slovenia exploded. Dragic dropped 26 in the first half alone. Klemen Prepelic, an unlikely hero, caught fire from 3. Slovenia put up 36 points in the second quarter and took control. But Serbia wasn't done. In the third, disaster struck. Luka went down with an ankle injury. Writhing in pain, he couldn't continue. His night was over. Slovenia would have to finish without their teenage star. And Serbia smelled blood. The lead shrunk. Tension mounted. Every possession felt like the game could swing. Then came the final minutes. Prepelic hit clutch threes. Randolph made huge defensive plays. And Dragic? He refused to let his country fall. Slovenia held on, 93-85. For the first time in history, Slovenia were kings of Europe. Dragic had 35 points in the final, earning MVP. But everyone knew they couldn't have done it without Luka. Think about this. At just 18, Luka averaged 14 points, 8 rebounds, and nearly 4 assists across the tournament. He made the all-EuroBasket first team. He was named Young Player of the Tournament, and most importantly, he accomplished something Giannis and Jokic still haven't: winning a major gold for his country. This wasn't just talent. This was greatness, written in bold letters. The next year, Luka went back to Real Madrid and delivered one of the greatest EuroLeague seasons ever. EuroLeague MVP, Finals MVP, champion, all before turning 20. By the time he was draft eligible, he had a resume most NBA players could only dream of after a decade in the league. He was, without question, the most accomplished teenager in basketball history. The greatest teenage player the game has ever seen. And yet, somehow he wasn't even drafted number 1. But that's another story. Because if Luka's teenage dominance seems unmatched, there's already whispers of the next Luka, a 13-year-old phenom in Spain nicknamed Wimbe Antetokounmpo. And the controversies surrounding him might decide if he follows Luka's path, or loses it all before he even makes it. Luka Dončić didn't just beat NBA stars at 18. He beat history. He carried a tiny nation to the top of Europe. And he announced himself as a generational player before most people even believed the hype. That's why Luka isn't just great now. He was the greatest teenage basketball player of all time.